For the folks watching the videos here, we've got an A through F ranking system that we're using for each of the cards. A card that's ranked A is best in the format. It's something you should prioritize in the draft, and most importantly, one of the criteria is it can win you the game. The B cards are also high value, very strong cards, also cards that you're going to prioritize whenever possible. But they're not necessarily the game winners, right? At least not consistently. C cards, which is honestly most of the cards in the deck. So a C is not a bad thing. It's filler. They're fine, but they're typically not amazing, and they may or may not make the cut after you're done with your draft. Again, this rating system, by the way, is just for limited that we're looking at because that's really where this set release is focused, is limited. And then a D card is generally poor value for its cost, or it's good only situationally. And then finally, an F card is one that just doesn't seem playable in a limited format.
Okay, perfect. Starting with green, we have Bag Yen Porter for 1 green, 3 colorless. Creature dwarf, that's a 4/4. And when this attacks, it gets +X/+X until end of turn, where X is a number of creature control. I gave this a C plus. It can definitely get beefed up a little bit more with some legendary picks that you're picking. So I mean, it could definitely swing into the B minus category for myself. But just standing alone on its lonesome, I see it as a C.
I gave this one a B, just because there's so many legendaries. And a 4/4 is a decent sized creature in this deck, so I can see attacking with it, especially if I can do anything to buff it. So now think about Gruul, right? So I've got some equipment maybe from that red deck, or I've got some of the other buffing things going on that are here in green, and I don't know, man. I think I'd be attacking with it a decent enough amount of time that I'm probably going to trigger that +X/+X. And I don't have to attack with my legendaries, right? I just need to have them in my control. So I gave it a B.
Yeah, I could be swayed to change this to a B minus.
Well, I'm not trying to persuade you because I certainly haven't played these out yet, but it seems awfully good to me on the surface.
True. No, I see it that way too. So B minus for me on that one. Bombadil's Song, 1 green, 1 colorless, instant. Target creature you control gets +1/+1 and gains hexproof until end of turn. Ring tempts you. A C for me. Maybe a C plus because I have it as a C plus because of the ring, but kind of think it's a C.
Yeah, this one's a B minus for me because of the hexproof component.
So C plus for me. Yeah.
Yeah, but I feel you on that. I understand your rating there.
Brandywine Farmer, creature. It's a 1 green, 2 colorless creature, halfling peasant for a 1/1. When this enters or leaves the battlefield, create a. I gave it a C because 3 mana for a 1/1. I mean, yes, it brings tokens. It comes in and leaves, but it's a C for me. I'm not going to. I'll play it, but yeah, and it works well with those bats too. Don't get me wrong.
Well, yeah, I gave it a D because it's situational for me, and because 3 mana for a 1/1 seems pretty lopsided. So it kind of fits the D criteria of not very good value for the cost, unless I'm in a deck where I'm doing a lot of food token things or tokens, being created and being sacked do things. So again, with the Mirkwood bats, this would be amazing, but that's situational, so it's a D for me.
Sure. Celeborn the Wise, 1 green, 3 colorless, legendary creature, elf noble. Is it Celeborn? Celeborn?
Celeborn, maybe? Sure.
It's an elf noble, 3/3. Whenever you attack with 1 or more elves, scry 1. Whenever you scry, Celeborn the Wise gets +1/+1 until end of turn for each card looked at while scrying this one. How many elves do we have?
There's a good number of elves in green.
I couldn't. I gave this a C plus, and I'm thinking it should be a B minus.
If you give me 1 second, let me check my other sheet to see.
Because I thought there was a decent number of elves.
There are. I'm checking the other colors here because I had kind of captured some of that on my other sheet. There's not that many. There's 3 elves in blue.
Yeah, because I was thinking about comparing this with blue because of the whole Scry Center.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of folks hyping up um, green blue elves as a archetype they want to draft for. But I'm guessing the majority of the elves are in green. I found 3 in blue when I looked just now.
I'm looking.
I mean, I would say assume there's a good number of elves in green and kind of make your gut judgment based on that for now, and we can validate it as we move through.
Yeah. I didn't see a whole lot. I mean, there are some, yes, but I'm just. But you have to attack with. Which card looked at right now? Maybe. I gave it a C plus. It could be better. I don't know. All right, I'm sticking with my C plus for now.
Yeah, I gave it a B minus just because I like that I get a scry 1 and that it's going to buff itself. I mean, just if it attacks by itself.
Okay. Wait. I'm thinking of casting spells at Scry. Yes, I forgot that when it attacks. I just said that too, not too long ago. And with more than one elf, this gets even better. Yeah, okay. B minus. B minus.
Cool.
So, Chance Met Elves. 1 green, 2 colorless. Creature Elf Warrior. Whenever you scry, put a 1/1 counter on Chance Met Elves. This ability triggers only once each turn. Yeah, here's that scry synergy. Okay. With the elves. And it doesn't go away, but it's only once each turn. So
That's pretty nice.
it comes in as a 3/2. Yeah, I'm a B minus with this.
Me too. I'm at B minus on it also. That's a pretty sweet card.
Delighted Halfling, 1 mana. 1 green creature halfling citizen. That's a 1/2. You can either tap it for add colorless mana, or you can tap it for add 1 mana of any color, but spend this mana only to cast a legendary spell, and that spell can't be countered. I gave it a B minus on this because I'm happy if I don't have a legendary. I can ramp using colorless mana. It's got a 1/2. It's not a 1/1. And of course, if I do have the legendaries, it can't be countered.
Yeah, I'm with you. 1/2 mana dork is great. I mean, it's not amazing, but it's great. I do like the extra little flavor. Can't counter. That's really nice. So I'm with you on B minus.
Probably going to say this wrong, but Duodane Rangers, 1 green, 3 colorless creature human ranger. That's a 4/4. It has landfall. Whenever a land enters a battlefield under your control, if you don't control a ring bearer, the ring tempts you. So it pairs well with that red card we were looking at earlier. But yeah, so and of course, anytime we put just 1 land down, 4 mana for a 4/4 is always decent. But this having the ring tempt us if we don't control ring bearer. Let's see. So if they kill our ring bearer, this always brings the ring tempt. Yeah, it's got some upside. I have a B minus for this. Do I want to change it? I think
I think
it's.
I'm going C plus on this one.
I think I'd go C plus on this too. I don't know. I don't know. It depends on.
I just don't know that I would prioritize this over other cards during the draft.
There you go. There you go. That's what I was
So it's
kind
a
of
C.
feeling.
It's some kind of C based on that.
C plus for me.
Yep.
Elven Chorus, 1 green, 3 colorless enchantment. You may look at the top card of your library anytime. You may cast creature spells from the top of your library, and creatures you control have add 1 mana. A minus for me.
I was thinking the same thing. This could be so strong, right?
If I see this, I'm grabbing it.
100%, because it's got ramp. You're digging into you're digging further into your library.
Actually, let's make this an A, because any creature you're bringing in has. Oh no, take that back. They can only ramp on after summoning signals. No, A minus.
Yep, I'm with you on A minus though. I'd grab it in a heartbeat if it comes. If it's that's a pack one, pick oneable.
Elven Farsight, 1 green, sorcery, scry 3. Then you may reveal the top card of your library. If it's a creature card, draw a card. You know, I gave this a C plus, but I'm changing it to a B minus.
You can also see the blue synergies here again because of all the scry, right? I'm going to stick with C plus.
Scry 3, man. That's huge. I mean, yes, you're showing your creatures so they know what's coming, but
I just don't know that I would prioritize this over other cards. I'd be very happy to have it in my deck. So it's a C category for me. I'll give it the plus because of the upside here. And if I'm playing this with blue, which has all the extra triggers when I scry, then this definitely moves into more of that B category. I'm with you.
let's see. I had C plus at the start. Well, I want to go back on my gut.
I'd say stick with your gut out of the gate, right?
I mean,
these are fun to talk about, but we shouldn't overanalyze. We need to go play them before we really know, right?
Fair enough. Enraged Haroon. I don't. It's 1 green, 4 colorless, creature, tree folk, 4/5 trample, and when it enters the battlefield, defeat. I gave it a C plus. I wish it was a 5/4 or more. But yeah, C plus for me.
I think I'm with you on C plus, unless I can get something that buffs it a bit, right? Gruul comes to mind, right? I would draft some of that red equipment if I had creatures like this to stick it on, like Gimli's axe. Now this is a 8/5 with trample. That's a threat. That's a problem.
Yes, sir. Intish Restoration, 1 green, 2 colorless, instant, sacrifice a land. Search your library for up to 2 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. If you control a creature with power 4 or greater, instead search your library for up to 3 basic land cards, put them onto the battlefield tap, then shuffle. I really liked it.
Great ramp.
I gave it a B minus.
Yeah, I'm at a C plus. Only because, and I guess if I'm in green, I'm gonna. There's a good chance I'll have big things where the ramp will really pay off. But I get your B minus, man. You may be more straight on that than I am, but I'm at a C plus right this minute. I'm not sure that I would always priority pick this. Maybe I'm messing up there. It also feels terrible if you draw this late game, right? When you've already got like 7 lands on board or something.
Well, I mean, yes.
That's true for any ramp, though, I guess, right? So I can't hold that against it.
It's always true for any rep deck, right? It's you love to grab it when it's early, and you're like, "Oh, great, more land,
more land, yay!" You know, yeah.
But you're thinning out your deck, yeah.
You know what?
Um,
I hadn't thought about that. That's a really good point, and I even had made it to you earlier on one of these other cards. You are thinning your deck, which means your chance of drawing value goes up.
Plus,
Um,
you get to choose the land you're picking. So if you're playing,
for fixing.
for fixing, so this is really like really high up there for fixing. Maybe not so much high if you're just playing two colors, but hey, you could be needing that other color that you don't have. Maybe you have too many green on the board. I don't know. So
Yeah, and for any viewers watching the VOD who may not be longtime Magic players, when we talk about fixing, what we mean is you're looking for the right colors of mana to enable you to cast certain cards. And there can be times when maybe you've got two primary colors that are in your deck, but you have some card that's really great, so you splash a third color, or you're greedy and have even had a third or a fourth. And you need to be sure that you have all the right colors of mana to be able to cast that card. So if you've got things like this that let you go find land, you could pick a specific color of land that you need to cast that card that you've had sitting in your hand. So that's why we call it fixing. You're fixing the ability to get all the mana colors you need to cast the cards that you've got or that you expect to draw.
So yeah, I might come down on this from a B minus to a C plus, but for now, I like it where it's at. Int's Fury, 1 green, 1 colorless sorcery. Put a 1/1 counter on target creature you control if its power is 4 or greater. Then that creature gets +1/+1 until it fights target creature you don't control. Power 4 or greater. What did I give you? I gave it a C.
Yeah, I want this to be better. It's not very good as far as fight spells go because of that condition. But if I was low on removal, I'd probably draft it and probably play it. I'm with you on C.
Moving on, Fall of Gilgalad. Gilgalad? Gilgalad.
Easy for you to say.
So I guess that's a first. 1 green, 1 colorless saga. Phase 1, scry 2. Phase 2, put 2/1/1 counters on target creature you control. Phase 3, until end of turn, target creature you control gains. When this creature dies, draw 2 cards. Then that creature fights up to one other target creature. I gave this one, I gave it a B. It's 2 mana for scry 2, awesome. 2 mana for 2/1/1 counters, awesome. 2 mana for, hey, I'm gonna draw 2 cards when this dies, even better.
Or I'm going to put those counters on something big because I want to smack you down and kill something big, right?
Oh, I'm definitely sending the 1/1 to its death.
So you want the double card draw instead of the removal. I guess but the nice thing is you got the flexibility, right? So, dude, I'm with
True.
you. I think it's a B. It's definitely, and you would hope that your rare cards are in the B range. Not all of them have been to me, but this one definitely qualifies.
So Fangorn, Tree Shepherd, 3 green, 4 colorless, legendary creature, Tree Folk, 4/10. Tree Folk you control have vigilance. Whenever one or more Tree Folk you control attack, add twice that much green. You don't lose unspent green mana as steps and phases end. Well, just standing alone, I gave it a B. It has vigilance. There is some tree folk in this.
It's not a lot though, right?
Not a lot. But a 4/10, awesome blocker. I mean, I would pick it.
Treebeard isn't in here, is he?
No, that's I didn't see him, and that was kind of weird.
Yeah, because that's what I think of first when I hear tree folk.
So maybe this is a B minus, maybe it's a C plus, but for me, I would like to have it. Very hard to kill.
It's super hard to kill. It's just a gigantic behind in the way of whatever opponent's trying to do.
At the high mana cost, I guess it's a C.
It is 7.
C plus.
Yeah, but we've got ramp, right? I mean, we've seen a couple of examples here. We had the Mana Dork earlier, and then we had the Intish Restoration card we just talked about that fetches more mana.
Well, and it's legendary on top of that.
I'm sticking to B, but if you want to back down, I totally respect that. I get it.
I'm gonna change it to C plus.
Okay. The tree folk will not hold it against you.
Galadriel Bow. 1 green, 2 colorless, artifact equipment flash. When it enters a battlefield, attach it to target creature you control. Untap that creature. Equipped creature gets +1, +2, and has reach. Otherwise, it's got an equip cost of 2. I gave it a C.
I'm going to give it a C plus because of reach. Also, I want to know why in the heck tree folk don't have reach. Come on. That seems like a swing and a miss, doesn't it? How does a tree not have reach?
Well, I don't know. Sky's the limit.
I don't know. I guess the birds just fly over the trees. But yeah, C plus for me on that one. I think it's a handy little card.
Galadriel Guide, 1 green, 3 colorless, creature elf scout, that is 3/4, and when this enters the battlefield, scry 2. I gave it a B minus. I love the scry.
Also an elf.
Also an elf.
It's got a 4 butt, so you might be attacking with it because its survivability is okay. This one's a C plus for me. What'd you give it?
I gave it let me go back. A B minus.
Yeah, you might be right, especially if I'm going for elf synergies. Even though this card by itself is not that great, if the elf synergies really come into play more in the deck that I'm drafting, then I might rank it higher. But for now, I'm gonna call it a C plus.
So here's a tree folk. There is tree folk here, so I think that's why I went back and changed it higher, because I'm sitting there thinking, well, if I'm grabbing this guy, I'm grabbing more trees, but you're not guaranteed to have all the trees, right? So alone by itself, back on that Fanghorn 410. But anyway, generous int. It's 1 green, 5 colorless creature tree folk. That's a 5/7 with reach. Here's your tree that has reach.
This one apparently has tree arms and can reach, things. Yeah.
Yeah, and when it enters a battlefield, create a food token, and it's forest cycling for 1. I gave this one a B minus.
Yeah, I think it's a straight up B for me. 5 power is pretty good. 7 toughness is really good.
And reach.
And it's got reach, which this would block.
I could change this.
This would block any flyer I can think of off the top of my head. It would kill any flyer.
I could go for a B on that one, yeah.
And then with the food token piece, so if I'm doing a green-black deck and I got our little bat buddy there, then I've got those synergies, or even white that has food token synergies. I don't know, man. This is a dang good card. It's a B for me.
So Gift of Strands, 1 green, 3 colorless, enchantment aura, flash, enchant creature. And when Gift of Strands enters the battlefield, scry 2, love it already. And the enchanted creature gets +3/+3. For me, this is a B minus, but I could see this being a B as well.
Gift of Strands, yeah.
Pumping something up and scrying 2, and you're flashing
I love that it has flash. It's a lot of mana, but a +3/+3, and I've got scry. Oh man, so I'm gonna give it a C plus, but I think it's in the B range with a blue deck. What did you give it again? Sorry, Tradus.
B minus.
B minus. Yeah, again, you may be more correctly valuing this one than me.
Glorfindel, Hope I said that right. Dauntless Rescuer, 1 green, 2 colorless. It's an elf, legendary creature, elf noble. That's a 3/2. And whenever you scry, choose one. And Glorfindel Dauntless Rescuer gets +1/+1 until it turns. So it's going to get a +1/+1 when we scry. And we get to choose either Glorfindel must be blocked this turn if able, or Glorfindel can't be blocked by more than 1 creature each combat. I gave this one a B-.
So you would pick this over other things?
I would, because of the whole scry. Yeah.
3 mana, 3/2. But it doesn't scry, so it needs something else that's doing the scrying.
Well, green has scry and so does blue, so I'm not worried about it.
I was just thinking out loud, because you're right. Even if I'm not in blue, green has quite a bit of scry.
That's the only reason I gave it a B-.
I'm giving it a C+, but
Yeah.
we're close.
Sounds good. Last March of the Ints, 2 green, 6 colorless sorcery. The spell can't be countered. Draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. Then put any number of creature cards from your hand onto the battlefield.
This is an A. This is sick.
I have an A- here, but it really needs to be an A. So yeah.
I mean, I guess.
Well, okay. It's go ahead.
No, go ahead.
It's draw cards equal to the greatest toughness among creatures you control. So you know, let's say they kill something and you had a 6/6, but you don't anymore. It's a 3/3. I mean, you're still going to draw 3, and then anything that's in your hand, creature wise, you can just slap down.
Yeah. I mean, and think about it. Like, look at the card next to it, the Legolas Master Archer. What if that's all you've got down, right? So it's got a 4 toughness. I draw 4 cards. Then I can put any number of creature cards from my hand onto the battlefield. Out of those 4 cards, I'm probably going to get a card. And I've, do I still have cards in my hand when this happens? I don't know. But even just the card draw, if for some reason it was just a bunch of interaction that I drew, it's still pretty strong. Obviously, it's a late game thing, but I love that we've already got some ramp in here. So I don't think the 8 mana is crazy to get to in green. Yeah, it's an A for me, but I could understand the A- argument. It is expensive.
It's expensive.
And there's a chance to whiff.
There is.
Plus being a sorcery. Man, imagine if you had a bunch of things with like 1 booties and you had one thing that has like a 6 and you cast this thing and then the opponent casts removal on your thing that has a 6 butt. So before this gets to resolve, you lose your one thing. So I don't know. But I think most of the time this is going to be great.
Yeah, I'm sticking with my A-. Because, I would hate for that to happen. Oh, that's not going to work.
But it's a calculated risk. If you're doing this at that point in the game, you're like YOLO again, right? Like, I just have to assume this is gonna work out.
All right, Legolas or Legolas. How do you say it?
It's Legolas.
That's okay. All right, good. Master Archer, 2 green, 1 colorless, legendary creature, elf archer. That's a 1/4 with reach, and whenever you cast a spell that targets Legolas, put a 1/1 counter on him. Whenever you cast a spell that targets a creature you don't control, Legolas deals damage equal to its power up to 1 target creature. I gave this a solid B.
I'm giving it a B+, but I'm with you. Great card. With so much potential upside, particularly if you've got good interaction that's buffing kinds of things. And we've seen some stuff just in green, but we've also seen them in other colors. Loving this one. And I'm glad that they gave Legolas a proper good card, because I think I've shared I'm disappointed in some of the Gandalf cards, so this is great.
Long list of the Ints. 1 green for a saga. Phase 1 through 6 is all the same. Note a creature type that hasn't been noted for long list of the Ints. When you cast your next creature spell of that type this turn, that creature enters the battlefield with an additional 1/1 counter on it. I feel like it's a C plus, because I don't know. Sometimes I don't know if you're going to have that much creature variety in your deck. You feel me on that?
Yeah, but think about this, okay? Because I'm with you. Because let's say you're mainly in green, so you got a lot of elves, for example, and you're like, well, I've already used elf. Yeah, but like, look at the next card, for example, Lothlorien Lookout. It's an elf and a scout, so I think that you could pick the second creature type as well.
That's true. It is a
Right. So
type.
like, I could pick warriors or scouts or whatever's. Um, so
Okay.
so I don't think it's just like the race of creature it is. I think.
You're right. You're right. It's type. So I'll
Because
give it a
elf
B
scout
minus.
is two types of creature. It's an elf and it's a scout, for example. So I think this has more potential value here than we might think. It is a little tricky. Um,
True.
and it's another one that you hope to draw early game. The fact that it's 1 mana gives you a good chance of that on your curve, right?
And it lasts 6 turns. That's pretty huge.
Pretty sick. And imagine if Legolas comes in as part of that, because I think this would trigger Legolas's effect as it's entering the
Archer
battlefield.
for his type. Yeah, if you've already done elf. Yeah, and then here's the elf. Yeah, you're right. Okay. Let's do a B.
Yeah, I'm with you. I think this is a solid B, man. I think it takes a little artistry to pick the right stuff. See, there's an elf noble, there's an elf archer. But like
Um
with Legolas, whenever you cast a spell that targets Legolas, it puts a +1/+1 on it. I wonder if this effect counts as targeting it with a spell or not, and would trigger that again. Maybe not.
I I feel like it would, but
I want it to. I think it might. We'll have to see how it plays.
yeah,
We, we need
that's
we need a judge over here, please. I need a ruling.
yeah, I feel like it would, but who
I need a
knows?
judge on this one.
Lothlorien. Lothlorien? Yeah, Lothlorien. Look out. 1 green, 1 colorless creature elf scout for 1/3, and when this attacks, scry 1. So it's another elf, it scries. But it's a 1/3. I mean, I gave it a C.
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a C plus because of the scry and the potential for elf synergies. But it's
Yep.
definitely in C category.
Many partings for 1 green sorcery. Search your library for a basic land card. Reveal it, then put it in your hand, then shuffle. Read it.
That's more fixing slash ramping.
Yep, more ramp, more food. I'm gonna give it a C.
Oh, and before I forget, so yesterday when we were talking about some of the other colors, I think I might have made a comment, or you did, or both of us did, that there wasn't a lot of fixing in the set. And then like in the middle of the night last night, I'm like, dude, there's all kinds of things that make treasure tokens. What are you talking about? Um, so I forgot about that. So I'd forgotten there's a lot of things that make treasure tokens in this set.
Yeah. And so yeah, there's fixing. I mean, green is obviously pretty heavy in it right now, but or I wouldn't say heavy, but it's got I mean, if you're gonna be doing multicolored, because there are multicolored shenanigans here, you definitely want to be base green. I feel like so.
Maybe we need to get to the lands too to see what other shenanigery might be
True.
possible there. Yeah, and some of the artifacts, but so far so good. Yeah. So many partings. What do you rate this one?
My bad. I gave it a C.
Yeah, I'm gonna
I mean, I'd be happy to play it, but
give it a C plus. I could be talked into a C. I like the food token part. I also like that I get to pick the land I want. So again, it's got that fixing element to it. Um, so pretty good card.
yep. I mean, I had C plus on my initial rating, but I changed it to a C. But I don't know. Yeah.
All good.
Oh, is this Murad? I don't even know how to say his name. I just call him Mary. But Meridoc. Meridoc. There we go. Meridoc Brandy Buck. Green, one colorless, legendary creature, halfling citizen, 2/2. Whenever one or more halflings you control attack a player, create a food token. Give it a C plus, just because I like that it's a 2-mana 2/2, and if I'm going to attack with it, I'm going to create a token with it. So,
Yep.
yeah.
I love a 2-mana 2/2. I love the food token creation.
And
Yeah.
it's legendary, so not bad.
Oh, that's a great point. It's legendary, so that's pretty excellent.
Mirkwood Spider for 1 green and 1/1. It's Death Touch, and when this attacks, target legendary creature you control gains Death Touch until end of turn. So I gave this a B minus. Because of the Death Touch specifically, but also giving it to your legendaries.
Yeah, it's interesting. Like, I'm wondering how that plays out with the ring tempts you mechanic. If that helps us that much or not, for example.
And how this doesn't have reach, I don't know. Most spiders have reach, like trees, but yeah.
Apparently, it's a wee spider. It's more of a ground dweller.
I guess so. Yeah.
So you gave this a B minus?
Yeah, I love Death Touch. It's easy cast, and it's going to give my legendaries Death Touch as well. So I can be a little offensive.
I love Death Touch also.
Like, I think it's a high value card, but that's just me.
I'm going to give it a C plus. I would prioritize it over other C cards. I don't know that I would pick it over a lot of other things in a deck. I would love to have some of these in my deck. I love cards like this as part of the low part of my curve, if I can get them. If I can get them, but I don't always prioritize them. That's just me.
No, that's fine.
It's a great card.
Yes, it is. Mirror Guardian. 1 green, 2 colorless, creature dwarf soldier, 4/2. When this dies, the ring tempts you. I give it a C plus. I like the 4 power.
Yep, I'm also at C plus. And is that a lady dwarf with a beard? I think it is. That's excellent.
Yes.
As it should be.
As it should be, yes.
That's right. That's a very dwarfish thing. Yeah, no, it's good. It's kind of interesting. It's a 4/2. It's more of a threat that way, and even a more decent blocker as a 4/2. C plus.
Mushroom Watchdogs. 1 green, 1 colorless. Creature dog, 2/2. Sacrifice a food. Put a 1/1 counter on Mushroom Watchdog. Gains vigilance until end of turn. Activate only as a sorcery. I gave it a C plus because it has some great value with some food tokens.
Firstly, I freaking love the art because I have a German Shepherd mix as a pet, and those are excellent doggies there. But if I'm reading this the right way, so when I sack a food, this permanently gets a +1/+1.
Correct.
And the vigilance is till end of turn.
Correct.
This is sick. I would prioritize this. This is in the B category for me. It's a B minus for me. Where'd you put it?
I put it as C plus. I mean, obviously, if you have food generation, this is going to be prioritized more. So
it just seems like even in just plain old green, there's been enough food generation stuff that this probably comes into play.
Oh yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I could see. You know what? I can see making this a B. I can see that.
Gosh, and think about it. What if you got 7 foods sitting around, right?
Well,
And
you'd
I
have to
just
have what 7 times 21 mana to sacrifice all that. But yeah, you could do it over turns.
Oh, you're right. You got to pay 2 mana and
It's
then sack the token. You're right. You're right.
I think it's 3, right? No, it's 2. Yeah, 2 mana. My bad. I did the I did the math wrong. So yeah, 2. You said 7. Yeah, so 14. There you
So maybe it's not 7. Maybe it's just 3, right? But
go.
you're permanently putting +3/+3 on this thing. So now it's a 5/5 and it has vigilance till end of turn. These could be very fierce doggos real fast. And the
Especially if
next
you have more than one.
and the next card helps us out with this. Peregrine Took.
So 1 green, 2 colorless legendary creature halfling citizen that's a 2/3. If one or more tokens would be created under your control, those tokens plus an additional food token are created instead. Sacrifice 3 foods and draw a card. So yeah, this plus the doggos, very nice. Let me give you a rating. I gave this one a B minus.
I think I'm flip-flopped with you. I think I'm C+ on this one, but it probably depends on how big the food synergies are for me in the deck. I'm looking at it a little standalone, like ignoring the dogs for a minute. Just making food tokens may or may not be that useful to me, right? But there's so many cards that probably synergize off of it. That is pretty darn good. But would I priority pick this over something else?
6
Don't.
mana draw card. That's also pretty tough too. So
Yeah, I don't think I would necessarily prioritize it, but in the class of C cards, I would put it near the top. It's perfectly good.
I'll change mine to a C plus. Yeah. Pippin's Bravery, 1 green instant. You may sacrifice a food. If you do, target creature gets +4/+4 until end of turn. Otherwise, that creature gets +2/+2. I gave this a B minus because of all the food synergy.
Um,
Could be a solid C plus though.
well, and I'm wondering why is it a B minus instead of just like a B? I mean, I guess because it depends on whether or not you've got the food synergy things going on, and it isn't a permanent buff; it's a combat trick.
Right.
So maybe that's enough for me to agree with your B minus. But +4/+4 is sick, man.
It
Now
is really sick.
you're going to need 3 mana then, because you need 1 to cast this and then 2 to sack the food, assuming you've got the food token. But I think we're going to end up pooping out lots of food tokens in this set.
Oh yeah, I think I don't think that's going to be a problem if you're base green, one of them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, well, and almost anything you're pairing green with probably has some token. You may have some food token generation too, like white does for sure.
yep, quick beam, upstart imp. This is a tree folk, 2 green, 4 colorless legendary creature tree folk. That is a 5/6. When this or another tree folk enters a battlefield under your control, up to 2 target creatures each get +2/+2 and gain trample till end of turn. I gave it a B minus, but I don't know if I'm accurate. I feel like it's good for 6 mana, 5/6, and when this enters the battlefield, you're going to give 2 targets +2/+2 and trample. So yeah, I think I'm good with my B minus.
I'm hovering between a B and a B minus on it. Another tree without reach for some reason. He's got arms. I don't understand. Don't they go up? 6 mana, but there's lots of ramp in green. A 5/6 in general is just strong. Green wants big things. Yeah, I'll go B minus with you, but I'm close to a B on that. I think it's really good.
Nice. Moving on, Radagasta Brown. Radagasta Brown. 2 green, 2 colorless. Legendary creature avatar wizard. It's a 2/5. And when when Radagast the Brown or another non-token creature enters a battlefield under your control, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is that creature's mana value. You may reveal a creature card that doesn't share a creature type with a creature you control from among those cards. Put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. I feel like this is going to be a B.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm giving it a B plus
Yeah. I mean,
because it's the gift that keeps on giving, right?
yeah, I'll give it a B plus because we did mention creature types here. And you could choose either the avatar wizard or whatever. I can go with a B plus on this.
Because you're thinning your deck and you're growing your hand with creatures. Both of these things are very strong, and with having a 5 butt, it's not super simple to remove without just straight up, exile or destroy kind of stuff. 4 mana. It's a nice blocker if need be. Could be a pretty nice ring bearer too.
Yeah, that's true too.
Because of its big butt. Yeah, man, I'm B plus on it.
To revive the Shire, 1 green, 1 colorless sorcery. Return target permanent card from your graveyard to your hand. Create. I like the graveyard synergy. I gave it a C plus though.
I'm with you on C plus, and its value probably goes up if I'm in a deck where I'm milling or I'm like playing green black where I'm sacking, but I want to be able to bring stuff back. It's pretty good.
The ring goes south. 1 green, 3 colorless for a sorcery. The ring tempts you. Then reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal X land cards, where X is the number of legendary creatures you control. Put those land cards onto the battlefield tapped, and the rest on the bottom of your library in order. So more ramping here.
And deck thinning again, because these cards that you don't pull out go back in your library.
I actually gave this a D because it's 4 mana. It's dependent on legendary. And it's sorcery. I mean, yes, it thins out your deck. But I don't know if I'd be like... I feel like there's so much better cards to put into your deck.
Yeah, because let's say you've got 1 legendary on board or 2 legendaries on board. You play this, and what's the best it can do for you? It gets me 2 land.
Yeah, for 4 mana. So, yeah,
it thins my deck. It's fixing, sort of.
Yeah, you're dependent on the draw of the fix. Yeah.
Well, if I'm pulling out 2 lands that aren't the lands I want, the chance of drawing the lands I do want is still gone up because the deck's thinner. But no, it's not really fixing. You're right. It's just thinning.
Yeah, I'm a D with this. It's situational for me.
I think I'm still going to be in the C minus category, but pretty close to you, man. You know what? I think you're right. I think it's a D. I think it's very situational. I guess if you've got a lot of big things that you want to ramp to, and if you've drafted a fair number of legendaries, this gets a lot more interesting.
True. Shortcut to Mushrooms. 1 green, 1 colorless enchantment. When Shortcut to Mushrooms enters the battlefield, the ring tempts you. At the beginning of your end step, if a permanent you controlled left the battlefield this turn, put a 1/1 counter on target creature control. I gave it a C. I could see this being a C plus if you have things you're sacrificing or fodder, or maybe it is a C plus. 2 mana. Yeah, I'll go with C.
I like C plus. It might even be a little higher over time. If I'm in Golgari, green black, this is in the B category. because I'm going to have stuff leaving the battlefield every turn.
I agree.
Hold on. So
It's a permanent though, so it could be anything like
a food
artifacts.
token,
Yeah.
a treasure token, those are
Okay.
permanents.
So now I got to go higher.
So hold on. This is a B minus for me. Maybe just a B. I think that's a B.
Yeah, because I saw that at the same time. I'm gonna go with B. This synergizes with food, treasure tokens, all kinds of stuff.
Yep. You don't have to sack stuff necessarily.
Even
or
land.
not creatures. Well, yeah. If you played one of those cards we looked at earlier, where you got to sacrifice lands, and then the
Yeah.
draws and everything, this thing's just going to trigger all the time.
Yeah. So B.
I mean, it's a little bit of a slow burn, so you just pray you get it earlier in your game. But I like it.
Yeah. Shower of Arrows. 1 green, 2 colorless. Instant destroy target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Scry 1. I could see maining this for sure. I have it as a C plus.
Yep, I was thinking the exact same thing. A lot of time destroying artifacts, enchantments, creatures with flying. I mean, the fact that it could do any of those three is pretty great. There's not a lot of enchantment hate in this set that I've seen so far. So, and there's a lot of strong enchantments. Hell, even artifacts. And then
And
we've talked about the threat of flyers, right? So, yeah, I'm with you. I would main deck this. It might sit there dead in my hand. I might not play it every game, but I don't know. I'd like to have it when I need it. It would definitely be a must draft in best of 3 where I could sideboard it, right? But even in best of 1, I know there's a lot of streamers that don't like these kind of cards, but I think I would play it.
Oh, I definitely would have at least one, but if not more for best of 3, yes. Stew the Conies. 1 green, 2 colorless. They should have made a card that was called Potato, but anyway. Green, 2 colorless, instant. Target creature you control deals damage equal to its power to target creature you don't create a food token. So yeah, it's removal, interaction. I gave it a C plus.
I'm giving it a B minus because it is removal, and it's got the food token piece going on. But it's not awesome removal because it relies upon you having a creature that has enough power that it makes sense to play it. So there is that condition, which is the minus on my B. But it's still removal, man, and I haven't seen a lot of removal in green.
True.
So, I guess it also, like, if I'm playing this with black and I've got really good removal in black, then no, I'm probably not going to grab this. So maybe. Crud, maybe you're right. Maybe it's C plus. Okay. I talked myself into it. C plus. I'm with you.
So I believe this is Woe's Pathfinder. 1 green, 1 colorless creature human shaman. That's a 1/1. It's got a tap activation for add 1 mana of any color, and then it's got a mana tap activation here for 6 colorless, 1 green, and then you tap it. Another target creature gets +3/+3 and gains trample on turn. I gave it a C plus. It's nice.
Yeah, sorry. Continue your thoughts there.
Oh no, it's 2 mana for a 1/1 that ramps, but of any color. By the way, 1 mana of any color. But it's a good mana dump too. So
I am with you. I don't know how often you'll get to use that 7 mana ability. But if you did, especially in green where you got a lot of things that are already pretty big, and then you can give them a +3/+3 plus trample. I don't know. It's probably a little memey. Most of the time you won't get to do that, but just a 2 mana, 1/1 mana dork is fine, and it's doing a green thing, which is ramp.